Playtests are a great way to look at a game in early development and also help out the devs to find issues and bugs that they might have overlooked. Demos are a bit different. They are designed to be a semi-complete experience, more like a vertical slice taken from an early portion of the game, so that the player can see if this is a game that they would want to purchase. At the end of the day, a playtest and a demo are very, very different. Playtests are for the developers, and demos are for the consumers. I start the episode like this because I am reviewing a decent demo that I think would have been a great playtest. Rainbow Legends was a demo that I grabbed off of 𝔽𝕚𝕟𝕕. It was a free-to-claim game for my relatively new account, so I was a bit worried that it would be lackluster, but after looking at it, I liked the premise and I wanted to give it a shot. Rainbow Legends is a fascinating thing. You get cards for Tetris-like blocks, and you try and claim as much land in a grid-like battlefield, and adding up the points for each player is how you deal damage. The concept is simple, yet kind of creative on a turn-based card game. Hello and welcome to this episode of Pixel Journey, where we break down titles and see if they're right for you. Today's episode is about the demo of Rainbow Legends, a demo that I truly believe should have been a playtest. Let's start with what you can expect from a run in the roguelike card game. You and an enemy will overlook a grid and will fight to occupy the most land. Armed with cards representing Tetris-like blocks, expand your territory to fill the bar more. It'll be above your map, and the more you fill, the more you will overthrow the neutral colors, and you can also overthrow land already claimed by your enemy. At the end of each round, the loser's score is subtracted from the winner's, and that's the amount of damage dealt. I do love the fact that this is not your standard card game where you attack each other directly. Having to claim parts of the zone is actually really fun, and as you progress, you can get more cards with more unique mapping and can cover more tiles at a time. To get into these battles, you actually have an overworld that's also tile-based, and you just have to interact with the same tile as the monster. The enemies come in 3 different levels, starting from very small up to the boss, and the harder enemies seem to simply scale with health, and they attack more aggressively, with some, I will say, have better cards. The first difficulty is super simple. I barely took any damage. The middle level one was still pretty easy. I just didn't blow through it. I was still essentially a wall to the enemy. It's not actually until I got to the boss that I felt like I hit the wall instead of became the wall. The cards the bosses have were very, very powerful compared to what I have, and the massive health bar made me feel very small. I actually, even though I've done plenty of runs, still haven't been able to beat the boss yet. The massive health bar compared to the minimal amount of damage that I could deal each round was going to take forever, and that slow burn plan was essentially disintegrated whenever they started to heal themselves. Even though I was taking minimal damage myself, my health bar was about 2/3 of theirs, so they were clearly chipping away at me faster compared to just their larger starting pool, and then they would heal, and I don't have any cards that heal me. So eventually, even though I would put up a good fight, I would end up being the loser. Now, the overworld doesn't only have monsters, they have some other goodies that you actually want to interact with. Now, the first one is chests, and I will explain why I have a lack of understanding for them in a future section, but you do something with them, and I think it's good. The chests were very confusing, so I won't really touch on them now, just know that they're there for something. I can talk about the merchant carts though. They are scattered across the grid just like all the other things, and you can interact with them to buy more cards and some other goodies that, once again, I can't really understand what they're supposed to be. But the cards are very good. I actually ended up with a good amount of gold, so I was able to buy some cards that gave me a lot more range and just covered a lot more tiles in one single go. Which is good because you do have mana each round, so getting better cards that cost the same amount of mana is just a net positive. Overall, the concept for this main playing mode is really good. I just don't understand how to get more health, and it might be something that I can get one of the other items in the merchant cart. I just don't know yet, and by the time I got cards, I realized I didn't have enough money to try and get one of the other items, so I'm not sure yet. But this already seems decently polished from a gameplay perspective and mechanics wise, and so I think it can be a potential great game to time sink a few hours into each night. Now there is another mode which I personally like better, and that is a puzzle mode. Now I really like puzzles, so this had a slight edge, and it's a very simple concept. You get a map with certain shapes cut out, and you get a round of cards with those Tetris-like blocks, and you have to perfectly place the blocks down to claim all of the land. It's a really cool logistics puzzle for having to flip around some stuff. You might go in with one idea and then have to completely change it because you start off with a corner block here or a 4x4 here, and you have to completely change it because, oh, you actually need to move that to a different place on the map, and that's how you start. Now there's actually a section that I got to that I kind of got stuck because you have to claim the territory and then claim it a second time, and I'm just always left with one empty block, and I don't know how to fix it. So that's where I'm kind of stuck at there, but it's very, very fun. And I guess because of the simplicity of it, there wasn't a lot of tutorials or explanation needed, and it's already probably the most polished section in the game. I'm really glad that they added this section, and honestly, if this mode was developed into its own standalone game, I would gladly play it. But by far, I think this, just due to the simplicity of it, was the smoothest part of the whole demo. And we're going to now jump into the issue so I can kind of tell you why the main mode stumped me a bit. Now I'm gonna bring up the single bug that I had, and luckily it was only in the tutorial, but it also was in the tutorial, so that kind of left me being confused for the rest of the game. You jump into the tutorial and you get to go into your first tile battle, and after you finish it, I continually got the prompt popping up for finish your first room before continuing on. But no matter what I clicked, what I pressed, I tried everything on the grid and it wouldn't let me progress at all. So eventually I just got really frustrated because nothing seemed to be working. So I stopped trying the tutorial and just went into the main mode. If the tutorial worked, I probably could have understood the chests and all of the stuff in the merchant's hut, but that also might have been a struggle because of the next thing. And the main issue that kind of pushes this from demo into playtest territory for me, and that is the localization. Now this is an indie game. It's not a big, like, huge backing indie game like Team Cherry with a bunch of funding, or, you know, Sandfall. So this might be a very small team of people that might even be localizing this by themselves. I'm not actually sure. But the localization is pretty rough, and it kind of comes in three parts. One, it's pretty okay, you can kind of understand it. It's grammatically incorrect, some of the words aren't the best use for it, and there seems to be something that is probably in the code that is just left in at the end of some sentences. That, it's fine, I can get past that. I believe it's maybe originally in Chinese or something. It's one of the symbol Asian languages transferring to English. If you're a small team that doesn't have like professional level, like bilingual people, I can totally see the English one being rough, and I give grace to that. It's completely fine. The second one is there's some sections that is left in the original Chinese, and there's no attempt at localizing it at all for English, so I just kind of took it as that's probably not super important, and I just kind of stumbled my way through those parts of the UI. A little confusing, but I kind of also just let that slide. And then probably the most annoying one was in the battles, there will be the characters with dialogue prompted, and it's blacked out, kind of. There's like tiles matching the background of the dialogue boxes, but you can tell that it's in English, but you can't fully make out the words due to the censorship of it. And I think those would have been really helpful because those seem like they're tips like, you're out of mana, here's what this block does, here's what this card does. Just don't censor them. I could tell it was already in English. If it's kind of wonky English, it's fine. It's better than nothing. So that one was kind of annoying. So you have sections that have rough translations, censored the already translated material, and stuff that was just not translated at all. So it leaves confusion for how to play the game, and that is the main reason that I think this should have been a playtest. Like, the localization and the tutorial, if it was better, I think this game could have easily been a good demo. You have the good concept for the game, you have the mechanics already there, it's pretty polished already. It's just, I need to be able to know how you are explaining the game to me, or else I'm not gonna know how to play your game. So my verdict is, this should have been a playtest. This is not ready to come out as a demo, and I fear if people come into this in the normal fashion of demos, testing it out for the consumer, they're not gonna wishlist it, they're not gonna come back to it, and that does make me really sad. But in the modern realm of games, to where there's so many games coming to Steam, PlayStation, wherever you play your games, you have high competition and you need to catch the consumer faster. I just worry that that's going to hurt this game a lot, because I do think that this could be a really fun game. The gameplay, it's really solid. The main downfall is just the lack of understanding to get into the game. So at this moment, I can't really recommend this as a demo. If I were to recommend this, I would preface this as a playtest. I would say not to go in with high expectations, stumble around with it, have fun with what you can, and that's basically it. Go into it with a playtest mindset. And the best part is, I do think that the gameplay carries it, and that's what is most important to me and most gamers when playing a video game. So this gets a 3 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that is all I can give it. And with that, that wraps up the episode of Pixel Journey for today, where we looked over the demo for Rainbow Legends. Thank you everyone who watched. I hope you got something out of this. Let me know if you have other games that you would like me to look over and feature on a future episode. But I'm going to leave you with this. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up, check out the channel, and if you like stuff, subscribe so you don't lose me in the sea of YouTube content. And I hope to see you in the comments section of a future video. Bye guys.